So we're going to finish up with Tom Emmer, and he's been just a fantastic congressman, leader, person from Minnesota. Loves that state. Boy, do you love that state, and they love you equally as much. Please.
Thank you, Mr. President. First, I got to thank Pete Stauber as he's talking about humility. Pete Stauber actually was in the White House as a national championship captain of a national championship hockey team back in the 1980s. So this runs in the blood in Minnesota. This runs in our blood in Minnesota, but it's not about Minnesota, even though I will point out most of the guys are from Minnesota, but that's not the point. It doesn't matter if it's Massachusetts, Minnesota, Michigan, Wisconsin, wherever players came from back then, they were all Americans. That's what mattered, and they were an inspiration. And you know what it means to my state? It shows us that no matter how bad it gets, there's always a way to succeed if you're willing to try. And I think Mike Eruzione said it earlier. If you think you're going to lose, you're probably not going to win.
Right.
If you think you're going to compete and you're going to give it everything you've got, these men who are standing here and their colleagues who are not here, God bless them, those who couldn't be here and those who have departed, they reached the ultimate peak. And when they did it, as Pete pointed out, they lifted an entire country out of the ditch and set us off to an amazing several decades that followed. And it's not much unlike the 47th President of the United States. So I think it's entirely appropriate that you're doing this for these men. You're really doing it for the country. And God bless you, because Minnesota, I think, is going to experience a comeback because of you.
They're going to do it. Minnesota's going to come back. No, I'm so impressed that so many of these champions come from Minnesota. It's amazing. It's a great place. Thank you very much.
We engineered it.
Well, the best players are from Massachusetts.
I think
it starts again.
Well, thank you very much. Any questions for the? Let's go to the players first, if you could.
Thank you, Mr. President. First of all, it's a great honor to be in the room with all of you. I remember this game, and it had a huge impact on me. You're heroes of mine, and it's really an honor to be in this room. Mike Eruzione, I have to ask you a question. What did it mean? I realize it was the semifinal game, but what did it mean to you at the time to beat the Soviets, to beat the Soviet Union?
At the time, it gave us an opportunity to play for a gold medal. You know, people always talk about the Soviet game, and I know how important the Soviet game was from a political standpoint. We didn't know it at the time, we knew it after. But if we don't beat Finland, we're not having this conversation today. We're not here. As great as the Soviet victory was, and it was an incredible victory, but if we lose to Finland, it would have been, God, if you only could have beat Finland.
What was the score?
4-2. We were losing 2-1 going into the third period.
That would have been a downer.
So
can you imagine?
We're not having this conversation.
That would not have been.
You are not inviting us to the White House. We are not receiving this honor if we don't beat Finland. So I think it speaks volumes of the team and the team that I played on to come back after such a great victory. We were ready to play Finland on Sunday. And I think, again, that's a tribute to the team and the type of players that we had. So years later, 45 years later, we realize how important that victory was against the Soviets. But I think a lot of us take great pride in knowing that we closed the deal by beating Finland.
If you didn't win that final game,
we're not here.
Nobody would.
We wouldn't have played.
You wouldn't be here. I would not have invited you. I would have said, "You got to be kidding."
Yeah, what happened to Finland?
Mike, if you drive an Uber.
It's very funny. Little truth to that. But you did win.
What's the lesson for Ukraine from this win from 45 years ago when you defeated Russian team against all odds?
Well, it's a similar situation, isn't it? Let's see what happens. We're working on seeing if we can make a deal right now. We're gonna see. We'll soon know, I guess. We're gonna see a lot of death. Last month, fellas, 25,000 soldiers were killed in Ukraine and Russia. 25,000. Can you imagine that? It's ridiculous.
Maybe we should send our team over.
For my President, if I could, you guys were a team of amateurs. What do you think about the NIL, the deals that are being made with players, and they're hopping around schools? What do you think about it? I get your thoughts on it.
My thoughts are I don't like it. I don't like the nil. I don't like the portal. But that's the state of college sports today, and we have no control over that. I don't like it, and a lot of people that I've spoken to don't like it either. But we have no say.
Well, I think we maybe do have a say. I think that it's a disaster for college sports. I think it's a disaster for the Olympics. because, you know, we're losing a lot of teams. The colleges are cutting a lot of their, they would call them sort of the lesser sports, and they're losing them like at numbers nobody can believe. And they were really training grounds, beautiful training grounds, hard-working, wonderful young people. They were training grounds for the Olympics. And a lot of these sports that were training so well would win gold medals because of it. Those sports don't exist because they're putting all their money into football. And, by the way, they're putting too much money into football because colleges don't make, even the most successful universities don't make that much money. And you can't pay a quarterback $14 million to come out of high school. They don't even know he's going to be a very good player. I mean, they've tried a couple of times. $14 and $12 million. And a couple of deals like that, and the most successful colleges are losing money. And I think the NIL is a disaster for sports. It's horrible for the Olympics. And I think it's actually horrible for the players. And you're losing all of these great sports. They're not college football. Even basketball is being affected. Basketball second. But even basketball is being affected. They're putting all of their money in, and I know something about it. They will not be able to stop. You're going to have a college president. I'm telling you, sir, we give a guard $7 million. We're going to win the national championship, and they'll give them $7 and they won't win it. And even if they do win it, colleges cannot afford to be paying the kind of salaries that you're hearing about. And frankly, if you didn't have a very strong salary cap in sports, and even then, in professional sports, they'd all be out of business, everyone. You're gonna have these colleges wipe themselves out. And something ought to be done, and I'm willing to put the federal government behind it. But if it's not done fast, you're gonna wipe out colleges. They're gonna get wiped out, including ones that do well in football. They can't pay $12 million, $14 million, $10 million, $6 million for players. They won't be able to stop. There'll always be that one player. If they only have that player, they're going to win the national championship. And they'll have 100 colleges thinking the same thing. Colleges cannot afford to play this game. And it's a very bad thing that's happening.
Mr. President, you talked about the Soviet Union, and I also want to ask about another country that you're targeting, which of course is Venezuela. Do you intend on seizing more oil assets from Venezuela and other tankers?
I wouldn't tell you that. I mean, it wouldn't be very smart for me to tell you that. You know, we're supposed to be a little bit secretive. You're a very big-time reporter, and I don't think I want to tell a big-time reporter or a small-time reporter that. But we are knocking out drugs at levels that nobody's ever seen before. We knocked out 96% of the drugs coming in by water, and nobody can figure out who the 4%. I wouldn't want to be the 4% either, but 96% of the drugs coming in by water. Every one of those boats you see get shot down, you just saved 25,000 American lives. But we knocked out 96% of the drugs coming in by water. And now we're starting by land. And by land is a lot easier. And that's going to start happening. And we're not going to have people destroying our youth, destroying our families. Forget about youth, everybody. You ever see a family with the fentanyl or cocaine? Colombia has at least 3 cocaine factories. That's a different country. We're not happy about it, but we're stopping it. And we've stopped it now on water. You don't even find boats on water. You don't even see fishing boats on water. You want to go fishing in that area? Does anybody want to go fishing in that area? I don't think so. So I just want to say this. We have now a strong border. A year and a half ago, we had millions of people pouring through. Now we have nobody coming in through our border. And we have a strong country. We have a country that's respected, and we're going to keep it that way. And we're not going to let people kill 300,000 people a year with drugs.
Mr. President, can I also just ask you one more follow-up question,
Yeah,
Mr.
please.
President?
The fraud that you've been pointing out, talking about in Minnesota specifically, there have been some reports resurfacing and circulating, even by your own administration, alleging Ilhan Omar's marriage to her brother. And this would be a fraudulent situation if there, in fact, is found to be fraud in a situation like that. Would you like to see her denaturalized or others who have similarly committed fraud
Well, I
in
think she's
Minnesota?
very bad for our country. All she does is complain, complain, complain. She comes out of a country where they have no government, they have no military, they have no police, they got no nothing. They don't have a country. And they run around killing each other. And then she comes over here. She tells the United States of America how it should be run. We don't want to hear from her. I don't want to hear from her. I don't want to speak for Emmer, but I don't think Emmer particularly wants to hear, but don't say it because I don't want to get you in trouble, okay? Just be nice and easy, all right? I'll do it for you, but that part I'll do. But I just want to say that there's nothing worse than a person that comes in and does nothing but bitch and comes from a place where she shouldn't be telling us what to do. She shouldn't be telling us, and everybody agrees with me. And what's happening in Minnesota with Somalia, where billions of dollars is being stolen, right, like candy from a baby, we're not going to let that go on. And it's too great a state to have that happening. And guys like Tom Emmer and others, Pete Stauber, guys like them, they're going to stop it. And they're going to be given the authority to stop it. Because this country's not going to put up with it anymore.
On Venezuela, you've talked about land strikes happening soon. Is there anything at this point that can prevent that? And is the objective, if you make that decision,
Well, I don't want to say that, but it's not only
Maduro?
land strikes on Venezuela. It's land strikes on horrible people that are bringing in drugs and killing our people. You know, if we were in a war and we lost 300,000 people in a year, because that's what the real number is. It's not 100. You know, you keep hearing 100. And it's a lot worse than that because the families are devastated when they lose their child. If we were in a war and we lost 200,000 or 300,000, but I think it's more than 300,000, and that's a war that's like a war that would be unparalleled. Nobody's ever seen anything like that, and that's what's happening. So it doesn't necessarily have to be in Venezuela. It's people that are bringing in drugs to our country are targets.
Mr. President, at the end of this year, those extended Obamacare subsidies expire. What's your message to those 24 million Americans who will see their insurance premiums go
Well,
up?
don't make it sound so bad because, you know, obviously you're a sycophant for Democrats. You're obviously a provider of bad news for Republicans. Let me just say something. The Republicans, I think I can speak for Tom and most other people. I think what most Republicans want to see is what I want to see. And I leave it to them, and hopefully they're going to put great legislation on this desk right here. We want to see all of the money that's been squandered and given to insurance companies because Obamacare is horrible health insurance. It's far too expensive, and it always has been. But what it really is a way of making insurance companies rich. We want the money not to be paid at all to insurance companies. You know, insurance companies have gone up 1,700% over a short, meaning the stock, 1,700% over a short period of time. And they've taken in hundreds of billions and even trillions of dollars. And we want the money to go to the people. They'll go in the form of a insurance account, health care account, or any other form that we can create. We have a lot of different forms. We want to give the money to the people and let the people buy their own great health care. And they'll save a lot of money, and it'll be great. Now, the problem we have is that the Republicans are not at all controlled by the insurance companies. But you know who is? The Democrats. The Democrats have received hundreds of millions of dollars. They're totally controlled by the insurance companies. So we might not get too many of their votes. But I actually think we'd get some Democrat votes. So I don't know how you feel about it, Tom, but everybody wants to see this happen. Everybody. I put it out, and all of a sudden, we've taken over in a positive way. The Republicans have taken over health care in a positive way. I want to see the billions of dollars go to the people, not to the insurance companies. And I want to see the people go out and buy themselves great health care. Much better health care at very little cost. That's what I want. And it's so simple.
They won't vote for an Obamacare extension deal if it includes funding for abortion. Would you assure those Republicans that you will not propose?
Well, we're going to look into it. We're going to look into a lot of things. That's one of many factors. But what we do want to see is we want to see the money go to the people, not to the insurance companies. No, wait. You have to be nice and easy. Nice and easy. She's very aggressive. Okay, please.
Thanks, Mr. President. Can you tell us how this free economic zone would work in the Donbass and in land that the Russians took by force?
Well, I don't want to do that now. It's a very complex situation, but it would work. and a lot of people want to see it work, and all I want to do is I want to stop the death of 25,000 people a month. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. President. There were new Epstein photos released today showing you and also Bill Clinton, Steve Bannon. What were your reaction to those new photos that were released today?
Well, I haven't seen it, but I mean, everybody knew this man. He was all over Palm Beach. He has photos with everybody. I mean, almost, there are hundreds and hundreds of people that have photos with him, so that's no big deal. I know nothing about it.
How big a role do you want to personally play in the decision by the Fed on interest rates?
Well, you know, I've made a lot of money. I've been very successful, and I think my role should be at least that of recommending. They don't have to follow what I say, but we're going to be choosing a new Fed person in the pretty near future. But they went out, you know, they went out with 71 different people, all economists and Trump. I was 71. And of the 71 people, I got it right, and one other person, I think from the Wharton School of Finance, my alma mater, got it right. There were 2 people that got it right out of 7, but I was one of them. So I think I certainly should have a role in talking to whoever the head of the Fed is, or the Fed. I don't think that, you know, in the old days that used to happen. Nowadays it's sort of, they think it shouldn't happen. But I've done great. I've made a lot of money. I've been very successful. I think my voice should be heard. But I'm not going to make the decision based on that. I'll be making a decision over the next few weeks. Thank you all very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you, press. Let's go. Let's go. Thank you. Thank you, press. Let's go. Let's go. Head out. Thank you.
If you join,
Thank you, press. Thank you, press. Thank you.